Next up, at UFC 303, we have the featured fight of the evening. The brand new featured fight of the evening. This fight was put together just 2 weeks ago. And even though the opponents have swaveled all over the place, we have two short notice opponents. Anthony Smith stepped up on short notice to help save the day. His opponent dropped. And now Roman Dolidze is stepping up on short notice, up in weight, to try to save the day. Anthony Smith, 37-19 in his career. He is 2-3 in his last 5. He is coming off that massive underdog win over Vitor Petrino. He's taking on Roman Dolidze, 12-3 in his entire career, but he is on a 2-fight skid. Roman Dolidze is a world champion grappler, and we have seen those skills in the cage. Was it Jack Hermanson that he put into a pretzel and submitted or TKO'd almost instantly when it hit the ground? And Jack was supposed to be
a little calf slicer.
Just
like a mounted calf slicer, and
dude, it was instant.
He was like trying to break his leg, and then he was like, "Oh, I can just punch him in the head right now."
Yeah. It was literally instant. Like as soon as they were on the ground, it was like, "Oh shit, that guy's in trouble."
That Phil Hawes goes down as a TKO as well, but that should have been. I think that submission win was like plus 500 or plus 600, but he went to the ground and boom, all of a sudden, Phil Hawes doesn't have a knee anymore.
Phil Hawes took down Roman Dolidze with an insanely beautiful duck under, instantly in trouble on the ground. Instantly. But while Roman Dolidze is such a phenomenal grappler, he doesn't really offensively grapple. You're not going to watch him shoot a lot of takedowns. He almost relies on other people to get him there. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that he's got some power in his hands. So he does march forward, bombing away, looking to land the big one, looking to make something happen. And if you shoot on him, even better. He's typically not going to go ahead and shoot on you. He will, but it's not the most common thing in the world. Historically, he did have some cardio issues, but he's an insanely tough guy that doesn't quit, continues to move forward. He is coming off the one-sided whooping by Nasruddin Imavov, where he did go 0 for 4 in takedown attempts. He's taking on Anthony Smith, tried and true, toothless veteran Anthony Smith. And I say toothless because we watched his teeth get knocked out of his mouth when he fought Glover Teixeira, and then he literally picked him up, handed him to the referee, and continued in that fight. He's an insanely tough guy. He's a guy that will not quit. His nickname is Lionheart, and that is very suited. He can be finished, though. Khalil Roundtree knocked him out cold just 2 fights ago. But then in his last fight, he came out there, massive underdog. Threw out some leg kicks, got Vitor Petrino's leg all messed up. Vitor took a shot. He sucked up a guillotine and made it happen. And that's not the first person Anthony Smith has submitted. He has submission wins over some highly ranked people at this weight class. Anthony Smith is very good, and he has a ton of skills. This is a weird matchup because it is short notice for both of them. Roman Dolidze has an insanely clear path to victory, but who knows if he's going to do it? He doesn't do those things. Roman Dolidze doesn't follow game plans. He just goes out there and gets into fights, especially on short notice. I do think Roman Dolidze is going to win this fight. Most of that has to do with the fact that I do think, while Anthony got that nice win in his last fight, I think he's definitely on the back end of his career, and I think Roman Dolidze is going to move forward, bomb away. There might be some clinch work. Maybe he will shoot a takedown because he's worried about his cardio, and then he'll get something done. But I do have a bet on this fight, the same bet I have put on every single Roman Dolidze fight ever, and that is wins inside the distance, decision, no action. Jacob sent that to me this morning when it dropped. It was minus 130.
135, and I got the 135, sniped it.
I got it at 150, minus 150, not 6 minutes after you sent it. It flew. I don't know what it is now. But for a favorite who is that durable,
you don't have to.
It's very weird because a favorite as durable as he is, to have that bet be
175 now. Not as much as I thought.
You're starting to lose some of the value, but he's very, very durable, so you don't have to worry about him getting finished. And he's dangerous. So even if he gets his face bashed in for 15 minutes like he did against Nasruddin Imavov, you get a full refund like nothing happened. What do you think, Jakey boy?
Yeah, this is, in my opinion, and I just kind of thought about this in the moment because I don't have pre-recorded responses that I read on Sunday. I'm just reading again today. Roman Dolidze. I think this fight could look like the Johnny Walker fight with Anthony Smith and Johnny Walker. By the way, Johnny Walker was lock of the week that week. A little bit controversial because it was still minus money, but he was the underdog in that matchup. And it was just kind of the presence.
Sorry, in your defense, you had an underdog. They dropped, and you threw up Johnny Walker at the last minute. Yeah, well, they're crybabies, but yeah.
he was the underdog, but it's Johnny Walker's kind of physical presence that kind of stifled Anthony Smith, right? He wasn't really like a come forward striker. He was on his back foot, and Johnny Walker was kind of able to kind of control the inside of the octagon. And Roman Dolidze kind of has that same presence, right? He is a 185er that's coming up, but I don't think size is really going to be an issue. It might be a little bit of a height issue, but Roman Dolidze, you mentioned his grappling prowess and championship. I believe that was at 220 pounds.
He's not small.
So he's a big dude. He's a thick dude. I think strength-wise, he's probably going to be stronger, especially in like clinch and grappling positions. I just think Roman Dolidze is going to control the entire pace of the fight, right? This isn't like a cement head Marvin Vettori or a Imavov that can kind of dance around and pick them apart, right? Anthony Smith's going to be a little bit more plotting. Roman Dolidze is going to be throwing those powerful shots. And Anthony Smith, honestly, was kind of, I don't want to say gifted that win, but he did what he needed to do to hurt the leg of Vitor. And then Vitor, and I literally called it. I said, Vitor's going to shoot a shot for no reason into a guillotine. That's exactly what he did. That opportunity presented itself. He did it. I like Anthony Smith. I picked Anthony Smith against John Jones. He's a Factory X guy. By the way, Mr. Cody Brundage was on the Embedded. You probably haven't watched the Embedded, but him and Anthony Smith, he's been stepped in to try and help Anthony Smith this last minute to train for Roman because they just figured out that change or whatever. But Roman's a more dangerous guy. He's going to be dangerous on the feet, and if it goes to the ground, like you said, he's a fucking problem. He's a finisher everywhere. Even if he doesn't finish, I think the pressure and the bigger moments are going to go to Roman. And we've seen, Roman will just kind of hold on to you to win rounds as well. He's not opposed. He's not opposed to, kind of just riding you out. And if in those positions, I think he's going to be pretty strong up in 205. So I'm going Roman Dolidze here, but I agree with your bet that I placed as well.
Well, there you go. DraftKings Fantasy, we don't have that pricing just yet because this fight is newer. We should get that pricing, I assume, in a day or two. We might have that by Wednesday. I don't know what they're going to do because Roman is the favorite, but it's not a tremendously wide. So he might be like $8,400, something like that. And I'll have to look a little closer if he is. Roman Dolidze. He does. I can see did he get a hair transplant? Because you can see a perfect hairline there in the front.
He's good now, yeah.
With the
you saw Joe Piper's got one going too.
Does he really?
Yep.
They're all getting it, man. They're all
Anthony
getting
Smith
it.
would be a good-looking guy with the nice one, but that's a lot to fill in there.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's the whole thing. There's not enough on the sides to put back to the top.
Yeah, they graphed it from there. Did you see that picture of Landon Donovan?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Dude, what's so weird is he was like, they told me you wouldn't be able to notice on TV, but why didn't you shave the rest? Why didn't you shave the long parts? That's what I don't get.
I don't know. They just told him that it was going to be a straight shot, and then they lied.
Dude, it's insane. Did you see? I think he posted his text messages with his friends. His friends are like, dude,
just roasting his ass.
Yeah, like what the fuck is that? It was. I
think his response was literally like, they told me they wasn't going to show the TV. Because I'm sure he was like, guys, and they're like, it's fine. It's going to be a straight shot. Well, look at the camera. You can't even tell, Landon. You can't even tell. But what were people in the stadium thinking? The stadium probably like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Dude, how does, I would assume everybody would, he looks insane. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, just look up Landon Donovan and then images and you'll see it. He basically was just getting a hair transplant, but they took the stuff off the side. So he has weirdly long hair while being bald and then just a shaved patch on the side. It's the weirdest thing anybody's ever seen. It was quite disturbing. What's not disturbing, though, is the insane value that you get with premium membership. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member, and unlock everything you could ever want or need heading into a fight week.